Hello everyone and welcome to another Top 5 Records video and another one in the series in which I'm taking a closer look at the full body of work of Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds awaiting the release of their new album Wild God. And tomorrow I'm going to a listening party and I'm gonna listen to Wild God, which marks the end of this review series. I've been doing 18 videos then, and today is the 17th video and the 17th studio album, namely Ghosteen. And Ghosteen was the album I was most reluctant to revisit. Not because it's bad, no. As a matter of fact, I remember very clearly when this record got released in 2019. Now, this is the album which is most about Nick Cave's grief over the loss of his son. That's heavy enough as it is, but at the time when this album was released, I was on a tour. I'm a filmmaker and I made a documentary about a Dutch stand-up comedian who had lost his son, just as Nick Cave did. And the death of his son was a very important element in the documentary I was doing. And while I was traveling with this stand-up comedian, with the main subject of my documentary, uh, to go from cinema to cinema because we had to do Q&As throughout the country, this record got released. So he put on this record in the car. And heavy enough as it is to listen to it with someone who lost his son, and we've also been, I've been talking a lot with him about the loss of his son, and making a film about it is even more intimate in a certain way than talking about it. This hit me. This record just hit me so hard. And I did not dare to ask to put it off because he was the one that lived through the grief. Um, so it was very confronting. So back then, I already did vinyl evenings once a week. A friend or more friends come over to my house. We drink Belgian beers and we put on the vinyls that we bought that week and bring along some old vinyls as well. So it's lovely, awesome evenings. What did he do in that week of release? And after I listened to this in the car, he brought along actually this vinyl. Um, and when he put it on as the last song of the evening. I believe he put on Hollywood or Ghosteen, no Ghosteen. Oh man, it was so intense. And I asked him to never put it on again. And the thing is, a couple of months later, he gave the record to me. And I never ever listened to it again until I did this video. And as I had yesterday with the listening of Skeleton Tree, I find it so heavy and I find it hard to get into it emotionally. I was afraid that that would happen again listening to this record now. And my experiences, although grief and a reflection of ungrief and loss and life, is at the core of this album. Well, not only at the core, it's all around. This album also has hope. And as weird as it may sound, it has gratefulness for life. And that's so absolutely not bizarre, but leveled, layered. You can hear that at this moment in time, the grief is obviously not over. This is 4 years after the passing away of his son. The Skeleton Tree was 2 years, but the recording was at the same time. As the grief is less fresh and we're much more the narration, the story, the Nick Cave is much more in the reflection and reshaping life with or around the loss. The spirit is different, and that makes this for a complete other listening experience than Skeleton Tree. I really enjoyed this in a very strange way. I not only did I enjoy it, I think this is among the best records that Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds did. There are some very pointy, sharp, and good songs, although the entire ambience of this record is ambient music. Um, Ambience, there are electronic elements, there's an orchestra there, but it's not as pointy lyrically as all the pre Skeleton Tree records. This is a different Nick Cave, and the strange thing is, though struck by grief and loss, he also seems, but perhaps that's purely artistically, liberated. Liberated from his strong narrative structures or strong narrative demands, liberated from having to deliver fury and anger. This album works on so many levels, and in a sense, it is liberating. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Highlight for me is "Waiting for You," and it sounds so good. Beautiful melody. Nick Cave also does things with his voice. He sings in falsetto, which is bizarre for somebody who is openly about his fear of singing flat. And his falsetto sounds so pure, so good, and it really adds something to the music. This is really a new step in his vocal career, and I'm really curious if he's going to take the falsetto lessons that he learned into the new album Wild God. It is really a fascinating record, and might I say, this final is really good. This is a good quality pressing. The detail in the sound is wonderful. Um, these inner sleeves are, of course, printed with the lyrics because there is great care into the lyrics from the side of Nick Cave. But also, the inner sleeves have special texture, so it won't harm the final. So it's very well thought about. Also, which is remarkable for a lot of new releases, the cardboard is really thick, good thick cardboard. The artwork, maybe so frank that I don't like it. I don't like it. I know it's closely related to his son, and so I'm gonna keep my remarks short. It's not the artwork was not made for me, but I understand the necessity for Nick Cave. What I do love is this, the gatefold, beautiful picture with Nick Cave and Warren Ellis. This is a great release. This might be one of the best records from 2019. Might be up my 2019 top 5 list. Really, really good. So the stakes are incredibly high. Tomorrow I'm going to listen to the new release, Wild God. It's been 5 years since this one, the last Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds album. So I see you hopefully tomorrow when I'm gonna be reviewing Wild God. And I'm curious what you guys think of this one. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave a comment below and I'll see you in my next video.